Hello and welcome. I'm joined by Antonio Trakakis, Technical Director of RINA Energy Transition Solutions. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you for inviting me. Happy to be here with you.
Fantastic. Now, to begin with, can you provide us with some insights into the services that RINA offers?
Well, RINA is taking active part in what the world is going through today. Of course, the surge of energy demand is something that is distinguishing the times that we are living. But at the same time, we have an acute need to reduce the emissions of greenhouse gases. So these are two confronting challenges. And RINA, aside from being a classification society in the market for more than 140 years, we are also trying to take active part in this transition, not only for shipping, but for the global industry as well. My particular role is limited to shipping and focusing on shipping.
Great. And you're preparing for a presentation at the Marintec Innovation Conference in December in Shanghai. What topics will be explored in this talk?
Well, decarbonization is a fundamental shift in what we have been doing for many years. And the reduction of emissions is, aside from a social demand, is also an engineering challenge. And in RINA, we are looking at it as a way to reshape our practices but maintain our values. Shipping is not really a conservative industry. It's an industry which is characterized by prudence. That's why we have safety as our top priority. So in order to succeed in reducing the greenhouse emissions, we have to maintain these traditional values, but we have to reconsider all that we have been doing for so many years. That is, we are not trying to push an elephant in a room, but we are trying to start from scratch, from zero. The challenge is so big that we cannot afford to only insist on doing what we have been doing for many years. We have to be open, but we also have to be pragmatic, because we cannot afford to fail. And behind the engineering challenge, there is also a social aspect, in the sense that reducing the emissions will definitely come at a cost. And the task of engineers is to secure that this cost will be the minimum possible, the minimum green premium, because we can succeed the same target with many different ways. But it is within the practices of shipping to try to find a workable solution with a minimum cost. This is the standard practice when you work in a shipping company. And this same practice we want to apply within RINA. Try to have an open eye to all solutions, but don't get excited at something which looks easy, but maybe at the end very expensive for the society. So we try to maintain a very prudent approach, typical to shipping, and try to help shipping and, in extension, the society in this very difficult transition.
Absolutely. And what are the key messages that you would like the audience to walk away with a better understanding of?
Well, the energy transition is not going to happen easily. It requires a commitment and a determination. It requires that we meet opposite ends, and the most important thing is the time element, because reducing the emissions requires a certain amount of effort. Now the time derivative, how much we reduce the emissions over a given period of time, is determining the cost. So the less the reduction that we do now, the more we will have to pay at the end. And this is a key message in the IMO strategy. We have to start as soon as possible and try to follow a constantly decreasing path towards net zero. But we cannot, you see, it's not the way that we can afford to reduce our emissions to net zero the last second of 2049. And there is a good scientific reason for this. And this is because even if in a magic way, the CO2 emissions are ceased, they stop to exist, the temperature on Earth will continue to rise for the next 20 years. So it's not the target, the end, the net zero, is the way we arrive to net zero. We have to start reducing the emissions now. Otherwise, even if we succeed the net zero in 2050, the climate will still have been damaged.
I see.
And of course, by starting early, we secure that the extra cost will be the minimum possible as well. So there are many different aspects which we have to understand and appreciate and manage our activities accordingly.
Absolutely. And one final question for you. Looking to the future, the industry is constantly changing. But what do you think the key topics that we'll be discussing at Marintec 2027 will be?
Well, Marintec is a platform for exchange of knowledge and information and presentation of new solutions and technologies. Like every time, every year, Marintec will be the host of new ideas, new technologies, new solutions, like the one that RINA is now planning to present this year with the application of a gas turbine.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time and insights today. It's much appreciated.